Coffee time. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee Run. It's old Johnny here from ProCraps on Casino Gaming TV. Hopefully, we have good volume today. I made a little bit of a change. Hopefully, it's better than it's been. But yeah, I'm trying to shake off that horrifying roll that we had this morning. My God, the daily paycheck this week has been just a soul crusher. It's been unbelievable. We'll talk about that in a minute. I want to do my overall review, but I'm still like triggered from what happened to me this morning. But anyway, let's get after it here and get through our morning show. A couple things to talk about. I'm going to get into some not details, but I want to start the process of strategizing for Crash for the Cure. Now that we have a lock date, finally, we can do some things. One thing I want to talk about with you all today specifically is going to be the Craps Academy Awards. So think about some categories, right? And as I get into the other screens here, we'll talk more about that. But think about things you'd want to see awards for that we can do at the event. So I'm thinking things like, like there's like tactical things like, the longest roll of the year that was captured. Whether it's George, I think George had a 71, Jeff had a 69. I think I had a 63. I don't know who has the long. I think it's still George, but maybe Jeff has one that beat that. I don't know. Things like that. Maybe, I don't know, whatever the funniest thing we saw was. But there's certainly, the content provider of the year. There's going to be the best strategy of the year. There's things like that, right? So think about what awards you might want to see. And then we can start getting that together. But anyway, think about that. And then we're going to talk more Craps Chat today. I've got a couple of people in the green room waiting to come and join. And there they are right there. They're all buckled up and ready to go and have a little conversation like we did yesterday, I hope. And hopefully they got to watch my debacle this morning. So that said, let's jump into Craps for the Cure 24. And a couple of things that I want to kind of get off the plate here. Number one is going to be this. The check screen, we are definitely locked on a date. We're definitely locked into a city. We're definitely locked into a venue, Casino Quest. I have a meeting pending with the casino that we're going to be hosted at, I think this week or next week. The problem is that Don Wood is on vacation, so we can't meet with them, but they want to have a Zoom call and kind of hammer it out. It's good. We're going to be able to film live at the casino. I'm 90% sure of that. I'm also sure of the date. I'm just not sure of what's the parameters around that. In other words, I think they're going to ask for people at the table. If we're going to reserve a table for 24 hours, basically, we're going to reserve it from like, I think 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 2 days in a row kind of thing, which will give them back their evenings, which is, we don't want to take away their prime time. It'll give us, full access, but they're going to want people to buy in for X. They're going to want people to guarantee whatever. I'm trying to get 30 people on the table every day. I don't want to have 10 people dominate the table. I want to have us all have a chance to play for an hour or two each. So it's going to be a lot of hopping and swapping to get on camera and that kind of thing. So there's some negotiation there that's going to have to happen that can make that work. But that's in process right now. So I don't know yet, Old Bay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That'll be the casino's decision. My guess is that it's going to be Saturday, Sunday. That's my assumption. I would rather have it. And again, we have to think about plane tickets out, right? I'd rather have it be Friday, Saturday, so that people could just kind of relax and chill and get out of there on Sunday and get home at a proper time. If it's Saturday, Sunday, then you're kind of locked into going home Monday. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try and push them Friday, Saturday if I can do it, and we'll do it. I will start signing up, Birdman, with ticket events here very soon. I've got to reset the website. Now that I have everything figured out, I'm going to reset the website and zero out all the donations from last year and get it restarted at zero, and then we'll have ticket prices and everything else. And one thing that we're still thinking about doing, by the way, we talked about this before, and this is why we're having the conversations now, is this idea of there's really, I think, two ticket types, right? One ticket type is going to be, like you're supporting the event kind of thing, but really it's like to get into Casino Quest, they're going to charge money, obviously, right? They charge me money. So we'll do a whatever, like a $25 per day kind of thing for Casino Quest. But at the casino, we're going to do things like, in order to play on the table, right? If you want to spy the table for an hour, you got to make a donation to the charity, and then you'll be on the list of people that get to play on the table. Like that, we're going to have you kind of like earn your way onto it. So the table's filled with people who've donated. And I'm working with the casino also to get that list ahead of time so that we can say, hey, look, these 50 people have committed to playing for an hour or two at a buy-in of X, and they've already donated to the charity, let's get them rooms. Like that's kind of that's where my foot is on the gas right now. I'm trying to push them into giving us rooms for everybody who's going to play on the table, and rooms for everybody, of course, is going to be a contributor in terms of running the mic and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Donating time for sure. If you're coming out there and you're going to be working with me, holding the mic, like you're going to be comped rooms. Like that's what I'm doing. So we're trying to get all the comps figured out for everybody. So it's going to take me some time to do. I can't get you there, but I can probably make sure that you're not paying when you are there. So that's the first set of announcements. Now we can take a look too at like what's going to be, what are we doing at the event? Now I can get more serious about like, again, pre-event donations. I'm going to talk to Chuck about how we tie Crapsy, and Crapsy now has that donate feature, right? That's built into it. I want to have a Craps for the Cure special table so we can log every roll at the live table for the whole 24 hours. Play Crapsy along with us at the table, and all the donations that come in through Crapsy while you're playing go to the charity. Like now that we have that tie-in with Crapsy, I want to make sure that is going to the charity. So it'll probably go to me, most likely. It'll be set up to the ProCraps account, and I'll have to kind of take the money and force feed it into the charity somehow. But I'd like it to be more of a direct line if we can do it. But that's part of the plan there, is get Crapsy to work into it, right? Live table spots we talked about, advanced tickets. We'll do live streaming, super chats, in-person donations, of course. The casino, I'm trying to get them to match wins. They've already kind of committed, cross your fingers, to matching ATSs. So what they're going to do is they're going to put up a virtual, I'm pushing for 555, but at least the 111 ATS on every shooter all 24 hours from the casino to the charity. So basically they're going to say anytime a leg or the full ATS is hit, the casino automatically donates whatever the win would have been for that amount right to the charity. So I'm trying to get them to go a virtual 555. So they won't lose money unless we do it. But we're really trying to get them to kind of agree to that. That's going to be kind of the, like, let me get the table first. Let me get the room second. Let me get us all some food third. And then let's see if they can pony up and do that big donation for us. How fantastic would that be, right? That's really where we're going for. So we'll see if we can get to work, but that's part of the negotiation process. And then we get into, of course, what's going to happen, right? Who do you want to hear interviews from? I already have talked to them. We're going to get to interview somebody from Casino Credit so we can ask them all the questions about how does credit work, really? How does the comp system really work, and all those kind of things. We're going to have, of course, the Premier hosting crew to talk about getting a host, using a host, what the benefits are of having a host. We'll have Brian, of course, and Don Wood as a panel discussion on cruising and craps. David, of course, will give some lessons and some other things. But who do you want to hear from? Who do you want there? Who do you want to learn from? I can get all the lessons we want, right? I can have Bo Parker. I can have Garrison. I can have whoever you want to talk at the table and give us lessons, right? David's going to do some dealing stuff with us, all of those things. Also, maybe a Battle Royale finalist. We have a lot of ideas. So now's the time. I'll make sure that we have a Discord channel open to have you all kind of share what you're thinking. So there's the Craps for the Cure update. And we'll transition real quick into the daily paycheck and said, oh my God, what happened today? Right? 2 days in a row, I go out there and PSO, right? Today I go, you know what? I'm not going to go out there and put all my money on the table at first. I'm going to wait a minute. I'm going to just throw some come bets out there, right? What happens? I have like a 15 roller out of the gate. I would have made my paycheck. I say, cool, that's fine, right? Now we'll go out and play, right? PSO. Like completely picked myself off today. So we're 4-2 for the month. Now we're upside down. We had those nice 4 wins. We got our asses handed to us 2 days in a row, and we're upside down. So got to get to work tomorrow. Slam says, Garrison, unsubscribed. I should share with you an email from Garrison. I know Garrison is one of these guys. He's polarizing, right, for a lot of reasons. But he's a huge supporter of what we do. He's good friends with John Patrick. John Patrick is a veteran of the Korean War with a harrowing story to tell. And between the two of them, they're good friends. Between the two of them, they donate massively every year to Craps for the Cure. They're big supporters of the event and of the charity. So for that reason, like, he gets time. Like, he come on and say your piece, man. I think it's to me it's the heart of the guy. with the charity that I'm looking at, and that's the reason why I have him on there. He's also working with Casino Player magazine, so that's the big there's actually Casino Player and Slot something. They have two magazines. That magazine, I think, is going to interview us, and we're gonna get an article in the magazine to support the charity. So we'll have actually a nationwide presence through Casino Player magazine, again through Garrison helping us out with that. So, you can love or hate the message, but the guy's solid, and I think he helps us out. So I appreciate that with him. All right, so the charity ATS that's a great idea, right? I'm also thinking, by the way, of having some kind of an automated system on the table, by the way, of having us being able to bet for the dealers. Finding a way to have the dealers' bets going through all the time through some common bankroll. But anyway, all that said, we're going to come through here. I'm triggered by the loss today in Daily Paycheck. We're now down to $49,081. So we fell below the 50K number. So we're going to have to hammer it tomorrow. Hopefully we have a better day. I snapped my fingers and look at my hand, by the way. My hand, that burn I got, I was telling you guys I had a big burn last week, killing me. My whole palm is just, it's bad. My fingertips are all gone. The pads of my fingers are all gone. I got blisters everywhere in that frying pan. Maybe that's why this happens today. I don't know. No, it was a pot. I actually I made a beautiful steak. It was perfect. Put it in the oven, pulled it out of the oven with my pot holder, turned around, came back, pot holder on my left hand, picked the pan up with my right hand. Literally, did the stupidest thing you could possibly do and burnt the crap out of my hand. So all my fingertips, pads, and palm are gone. Yeah, just ugly. All right, you guys ready to talk to our guest? It was a beautiful steak out of my hand. Yeah, I could have. My dog was happy with me. My dog loved it because I swore a little bit. I threw the pot across the room, or the pan across the room, and of course steak and the sauce and everything was all over the kitchen. My dog was like, "Woo, baby, dinner time for me." So yeah, it was pretty ugly and bad. So Jen says, "I've had money on odds. I would have had the money back in the rack." However, you're right, but I was rail dumped. I had no money left. The last run, all I had was enough odds for the 4. I was out of money. I couldn't have put odds. I was down to 0, unfortunately. But anyway, fun day. Here we go. Ready? Let's meet our last 2 panelists for Craps Chat. I'm going to go ahead and get over here and bring them on. Where's my button? Ready, set, 1, 2, 3. Here are your last 2 panelists. We have Craig from Old Bay Craps and the one and only Slambright. And it's funny. I'm going to introduce them. There they are, right? And we say, hey, Skill Luck is the straight man, and Gargoyle is the straight, honest guy. And we have a couple of knuckleheads coming on. It's going to make the panel. That's not what this is about. Say hi, guys. Craig, you first. You're on the left, so you say first. Oh, wait. Hold on. I got you muted. Hang on. Let's try that again. Go ahead, Craig.
There we go.
Right.
Just to be clear, Slam and I are straight. And we're men, but that's beside the point. Hello, good morning, welcome. Thank you for showing up. Yes, we are the comic relief.
I wouldn't say you're comic relief. Let's not go there. But yeah, Slam. Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
I would also say that Craig is not the comic relief. So
there you go.
that is what I am bringing to the table. Good morning, Craps Nation. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you here. You're gonna be like our Tyrus. That's who you're gonna be. You're gonna be our Tyrus, right? You're gonna get you some bling and some big tattoos or something, right?
When does the comedy begin? Usually, probably. I think that's when Craig starts espousing his opinion. That's when the funny part is.
Right. Everything you say is fact, right?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, this is how it's gonna go.
100% fact.
This is how it's gonna go. Oh my goodness, great! It's gonna be great. Jen's is a panel full of white guys. Awesome, yeah. Anyway, we got a pretty eclectic group, I think. I think we've got. As I look at the panel, right, Chris is going to be a great guy to run the thing, right? You've got a lot of experience in Gargoyle. for sure. A lot of different kind of experience. Craig, you're relatively new to the
You get
game.
very
And
little
and
experience.
yeah, but it doesn't matter because here's the thing, right? When you got 30 years of playing, you got 3 years of playing. It doesn't matter. You have experience at the table. And I think the inquisitive nature you're going to bring to some of what he might have to say is going to be pretty big because I think
Definitely.
you might be speaking for a lot of people who are watching. Like you're like I hate to say it like this is good. Don't take this the wrong way, but it's like you're everyman, right? At this point, yeah, and I think that's good. You're everyman, right? And that's good because it actually gives us a lot of like I said, speaking for the crowd kind of thing. And Slam, how long have you been playing? You've been playing for a while, right?
I've actually been playing since the early 2000s. So yeah.
Yeah. And you're so I don't really know you that well, which is I'm looking forward to getting to know you. You're on the Big AZ games all the time. You're well known over there, but not maybe so much to a lot of people who watch my shows in the morning. But that's going to change.
Yeah. I do enjoy playing on Big AZ's table with rule changes and whatnot. I do play a traditional craps game as well. I just like how the different rules force you to take a look at the board in different ways. And I think a lot of that, creativity and flexibility in looking at betting strategies and whatnot can translate into normal play as well. So
That's interesting.
I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah.
He, I've been on AZs a plenty, not as much as Slam, but yeah, you have to think differently because of all the rule changes, and the rule changes keep coming. So maybe you did something because of one rule change, and then you already made your bet, and somebody comes in with
Mhm.
another rule change. But ultimately, like Slam said, it actually changes the way you think now at the real table because of so many scenarios that can happen. You can win so many ways in this game. It's there's still ways that people maybe haven't really thought about just because of the combinations of everything.
absolutely.
It's interesting because when I watch AZ stuff, I get annoyed by the rule changes because I'm like I can't follow what's going on. Like I can't play along, right? And I'm like and as a dealer, I have hard enough time dealing to myself one player at a time, getting the bets right. I honest to God, I don't know how he does it. Keeps it all straight. It's insanity what he's doing with 4 or 5 people at a time and all the craziness.
Right.
It's a very very impressive. But your point is well taken. Like a tournament play, man versus man kind of thing is different than playing at the casino. Way different. And when
Absolutely.
when I used to deal out the Friday night fights, which I'm going to bring back at some point, I remember like getting annoyed because I'm such a traditionalist, right? I get annoyed. I'm like, oh god, now we're going to be hopping all the time. I used to hate when Vince would be on the show because it's all nothing but hops, right? And trying to do all this craziness, and I'm like, but I get it. He's trying to beat the guy, right? And it's a whole different mindset. And I think when you look at that, you do, Craig, to your point, look at the game differently because now you're doing math. Like, okay, if I do this, and this, that'll win me X, Y, Z, and he's got that on the table, and that way, right, we can make this. That whole thing, like, you're never stopped. I see you guys with notepads trying to figure it out, right? Yeah.
So, like the plasticity that you have to have in navigating just the rule changes up front, anything that might happen in the middle of the match, I think I would like to say that it actually makes playing a straight craps game at the casino a lot easier because you're having to focus on the different things that are happening at the table, people coming, people going, conditions changing, dealers changing. It allows you to like keep all of that like running as a total in your head and gives you the idea to always be watching what's going on at the table. That way you can react to when conditions change. I mean, obviously the payouts aren't going to change, everything like that. It also gives you the mind of what am I supposed to what am I supposed to be getting paid on this? What am I getting paid on that? How is this hedge working against this? What am I doing to optimize my play?
But that's where tournament play can be to your advantage when you do go to the
Exactly.
casino, because if you're disciplined enough to watch what's happening, then you're disciplined enough to change along with it. Whether it's a cold versus going to a hot, or a hot noticing you're going to a cold again,
Absolutely.
you can change the way you're betting.
Mhm. Have you noticed, Craig, that you're playing more of, like, when I've dealt to you, it's been a ton of, you're hopping the sevens and you got all. Are you doing that at the casino too now, or is that really just more tournament type style?
No, but I know that on you with the six-time champ
Mm-hmm.
right here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
You,
no,
you put up eight
I would.
fingers, by the way. You said 6 times champs, put 8 fingers up. I'm just
I
calling
never
that
said I
out.
could count. I just trying to make a crown. Damn it. No, I would play the.
Oh, that was a crown. I get it. I get it. Okay, okay, now I understand.
I was playing the horn on you because
Sorry. Yeah.
sometimes I would change my bets on whose tournament it is. If it's
Mhm.
Dice Degen's craps tournament, his March Madness, I play sixes more because that man rolls sixes and horns. You roll horns and you roll sevens, so we got to play to that. But I had to watch enough of your shows to see that that's what you do when you're random rolling. I haven't gotten enough to see what you do like on Daily Paycheck. I've never seen you actually throw in a casino yet. Well, I
That's
have,
right.
but
That's right.
not really. I've missed you at certain tables, so
Yeah.
I haven't really seen the chopper toss. So it is what it is. But you do think differently, and what it
Mhm.
has made me do is learn. When I started jumping onto the world bet, and it really played out in Atlantic City in February with Lou. Lou, for whatever reason, Lou was on a hot hand and he was hitting a lot of come out horns and he was hitting hard ways. And that's what I was hammering because I was looking at what was happening. That's what was rolling. So I took my chances there. Is it always going to work? No, but it did that day. So
So let's talk about the show. What's about to happen here? We're starting a new craps chat. I'm actually reading some of the chats here. People are bantering about the makeup of the panel and that kind of thing. What do you think about the new format of the show? Now, Slam, I know you weren't part of the original show. Greg, you were on all the time. What are your thoughts on the panel? Not just the makeup of the panel, but like the style of what we're going to do here. And again, we're going to be doing more of a roundtable discussion between 4 or 5 regulars.
you go first.
Right. 4 or 5 regulars and one or two, guest of the week kind of a thing. That'll kind of round the panel out. So let's talk about that.
Right. So having had the discussion with Gargoyle, I am very familiar with Skill. Dylan's a great guy. Love him to death. And Chris. I really think that we bring 5 not opposing, but different directing point of views that are coming towards a middle ground. And I think that is going to be great. Um, the what I would like to see from the show and what I'm getting from it is I think that it is going to be an opportunity to like see things from different perspectives. I think not just in craps, but with everything in life, when you get bogged down in the way that you see things, and especially if you're surrounded by other people who see things the way that you do, you are not able to pivot, especially at the table when things are not going the way that you're hoping or expecting. It makes it harder to look at different ways of approaching things. And that's what I'm hoping that the craps chat is going to like bring forth for everybody going forward. How would Slam approach this? How would Chris approach this? How would Gargoyle approach this? And I think that there's going to be I don't want to say like opposing dichotomies, but I think that there are going to be points that we can take away and that we can all educate each other and the community and just become better craps players and better people, hopefully. I mean, not Craig, obviously, but
I'm already better. I know.
But that's what I'm hoping for. I see this with like the panel format with everybody like having their own on it, and maybe not coming to a consensus at the end, but being able to see and better understand points of view that are not necessarily in our own wheelhouse.
Yeah, I totally agree. The old Craps chat, which was great because it was a community thing, and that's the whole probably reason that Dylan and Jeff got into it, was they wanted to grow the community, and that was a great way to do that. But I think the panels got so large sometimes that, and Jeff always wanted to have somebody make sure that they got their time, their voice heard, but not everybody needs to answer the same question. And I think with this smaller panel that we have, only 2 or 3 answers to a question is needed, because we can move faster, we can move on. There's always going to be a forum of some kind, maybe towards the end, but during the crux of it, it's just going to be 5 people, and maybe the special guest, their opinions on things, their perspectives on things. And like Slam said, it's not going to be 5 opposing views. It's just the way I see the come out role is going to be different the way G sees the come out role. We probably both play it a little bit differently, but how do we play it and why do we play it? And those are some interesting things, because that might get people to start betting and thinking differently about, well, when I go to the game, when I go to the local casino, boy, do I see a lot of come out 7s and horns. Start taking advantage of it. Let's blow it up with the topic like that. So I think the smaller group is going to be much better. It's more focused, and hey, I think it's going to be fun.
I think so
Not
too.
with this guy.
Well, I think really what it's going to be about is the discussion piece, right? I think previously it was like more about what do you think, right? Which I think is the way to do it when you're doing that kind of a format. This way, and again, I said it yesterday, I think Zoom allows us, we're using Zoom, by the way, to get this done. Zoom allows for better timed conversations. Like, you guys, there's no delay. So it'll be more discussion, like not argument, but like back and forth. It doesn't have to be take your turn, because we have technology things getting in our way. It'll actually be more of a discussion, I think, which is what I was hoping for when we first talked about reformatting it. I wanted more discussion back and forth versus just people taking turns, right? I think that's going to be, because that's where it's going to come out, like the humor, like the little jab, but also seriousness behind that. I think that's all where it's going to be, felt in terms of rhythm.
What I want to say to the audience is, we had a pre-meeting the other night, and it picked up just like Craps Chat does. And I think that's what you'll all like. It was a really good discussion. And I think we actually didn't realize that 2 hours had gone by. And
Absolutely.
we actually went into a full discussion with all of us. So it felt good. It felt natural. And that's what you're going to see. So
yeah, it felt pretty natural. And the thing is, like, we don't, like I said, Slam and I don't know each other that well. I'm not on the show anyway. I'm just going to be pushing buttons, right? But like, it's going to be good to get to know Slam a little better, right? We all think we know Gargoyle, but we really don't, right? And I think we joked about this, right? Like, Gargoyle is going to be the, fact, hard ass, right? And Slam's going to be the funny guy, right? Well, guess what? Guess who's not? Gargoyle is pretty damn funny, and Slam is pretty damn serious, right? You've heard already. You can laugh your ass off, right? But you've heard them already today. Like, I'm like ready to take some notes over here. Like this is a great. Like I said, it's not like we're not like siloed into certain roles here, right? This is going to be, I think, bringing a bunch of really interesting stuff to the conversation. So, John Punt.
Well, if I can say, Glenn in the chat asked if I was going to be Gutfeld and Craig was going to be Killmead. I think we decided privately that I'm going to be Waldorf and Craig is going to be Statler. So
I'll be honest, I'm more like Sweetums. That's me.
Oh my god, that's too damn funny. Oh my goodness. So let me ask you this. So what so we talked about like the different hosts bringing in topics to kind of talk through. What are some of the things that you're hoping that we get into? And of course we'll take user suggestions for show ideas, but what are some of the topics that you're hoping that we get to talk about on the coming shows.
You mind if I jump in here, Craig?
Yeah, go for it.
So I know this is a hugely debated thing, and just one of my favorite phrases is, and anyone who knows me, dice don't know it's the come out. Why are you not working the come out? Statistically speaking, you have the same amount of probability of rolling a 7 on the come out as you do rolling a 7 any other roll. Like, well, you don't lose money if you roll 7 on the come out. Like, well, you're going to lose the money if you're working during the point roll in the 7 rolls. So what is the difference? And that's going to be one of the things that I know that at least one disagrees with me on the panel, and that is going to be a great debate that I'm looking forward to.
I disagree and I agree. I'm that guy, right? I don't like taking multiple whacks on the come out. That's the difference. The dice don't know, but the puck knows. And if you can get beat 4 times in a row where you can't get beat 4 times in a row during the cycle, that's the big difference to me. But somebody brought this up, and I want you to react to this. I'm going to preempt the show with this. The casino does how many things that are good for you? Precisely how many things do they 0 things that are good for you, right? Automatically, what's off on the come out? Your bets, right? Your odds on your come bets are automatically off, which is an advantage to them. They don't do that because it's helping you out and they're being nice. They're doing it because they know that if the bets are working by default, they're going to not lose more money, but they'll lose more often. Which is interesting to think about.
Have so many distractions that no other table game in the casino gets.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's coming up rail bumping you. Nobody's rail birding a blackjack player. Nobody's coming up when the drink person comes. It's almost like the drink person comes at blackjack when the hand's done.
Yep.
It's not in the middle of play. You don't have dealers trying to tell you what to do or take down this or you should be doing this. You're like, no, if I want to leave my place bet there, leave it there. It's my prerogative and my money. I'll do the odds when I want to do the odds. Maybe I'm trying to do the odds for free. Maybe I'm trying to win it up top first and then put it down there. You don't know. So it's like, I've never been in a table game more than craps that has so many distractions.
It's true.
And the rhythm, like the other game, like think about like Baccarat and Blackjack, the outcomes are predetermined, right?
Yep.
The cards are already in the shoe. That person walking up doesn't change what's going to happen, right? At all on either of those games. Roulette, same thing. Like that's a timed game for the most part, right? Craps, the distraction can cost you 5-10 minutes sometimes, right? And it destroys and whether you believe in DI or not, rhythm is a real thing, and it destroys the rhythm and the groove and the vibe of a table, and it's just like it's iconic, to use Craig's kind of verbiage there, right? It's just crazy how that changes everything, and I think how people react to it.
When you do have that heater on the table, you still have additional enemies. Time is your enemy, and it's like, is there ever just something going my way, but that's the thing about, you brought up earlier, 4 come out 7s. Okay, well, why aren't you hopping reds when you see that second 7 come?
Thank you.
Even the first 7, take that chance, make it a small hop. But if you see that second 7 come, increase your bets. Watch what the table's doing. I know that practice rig play and real casino play are completely different things. All I'm saying is that in the past few lives that I've done, I've started to play the 4 and 10 more and increase the bets and not take them down and regress them as much. And damn if they aren't hitting. And it's like, you have to watch what's going on. And, because I did this in tournament play, I took it to the casino at the Horseshoe in Vegas. And I just started writing down rolls, and it helped me hit, I think it was a $25, started at a nickel, helped me hit a $25 hard 8. Why? because I even wrote down when somebody threw it off the table, I wrote down dice off table. I turned my bets off, turned them back on. You got to pay attention to so many things when you're playing craps. It's not just your rail, your bet. There's too many other factors.
I'd actually like to build on that if I can, because Jalenpon in the chat said it's very simple, Slam, because sometimes people with some influence on the dice, they may be going and trying for the 7-11 or for the 2, 3, and 12. And that is also goes exactly to your point that you need to be paying attention to what is happening on the table. When I'm watching the table, I'm watching the shooter. Are they picking up the dice? Are they giving it the whole razzle dazzle and like pound on the table and snap in the air as the dice are in the air? That's a whole lot different to me than watching somebody who is choosing the set, where they're putting their fingers, how they're throwing it. If I see that, I may not work the come out. I may be looking to see if they're going for horns or going for 7s or 4-11s. I'm taking a look at that. And so, yeah, I'm, to build upon my point as well, there are times that I won't work the come out, but I am not choosing to not work the come out simply because it's the come out. Because in the end, the dice don't know.
Right.
It depends on who has the dice in their hand. So.
Well, this goes back to the point, I made this point during the daily paycheck today, which was this whole superstition of turning your bets off certain times, right? And right. I think watching the shooter is an important thing. And now, by the way, you might have triggered me a little bit there, because I do carefully set, carefully grip, carefully throw, and I snap too. I'm also a snapper. So I snap after I throw. So I do it all. But I know that it's like Dice Coach is a big preacher of see a horn, bets are off kind of thing, right? And I said this before, he's not superstitious about that. Some people will say, oh shit, horn number 7's coming, right? It's not that. I think what Dice Coach is saying, and I think you're kind of getting at this point, well, it's discipline, but it's also, if it's a person who's just shaking and throwing, right? He's not necessarily turning the bets off after a horn number. But if he sees me setting the dice, and I'm obviously not trying to throw a freaking 11 when I got the puck on, right? I'm trying to get my 8 and 9, whatever. If I'm throwing horn numbers while I'm trying for the box, he's like, that dude's jacked up. Bets are off till he figures it out. That's what that's an observant, practiced guy is looking at the results of the dice and the person. And that's what you're saying, Slam. It's like, be observant of what's going on out there. And the guy's like in a bad way and he's swearing and he's like not loving life. Guess what? You don't have to, no rule that you have to bet.
Is it any different? Is it any different than playing poker and you're not looking at your cards, you're watching the person and you're seeing the ticks and you're seeing the mannerisms? Same thing with a craps player. When I'm saying you have to look at the table, I'm not just talking about what's rolling. That is important. Yes. You got to look at the person throwing. You got to look at the person maybe next to that person. Are they too close to them? Is it a crowded table? Is there a chance for a nudge or a bump or, is somebody in their way? Is somebody doing a Chiro and putting their hand in the field at the last second?
That story. What's funny? Remember when he told that story? He felt
so bad.
He felt terrible about that. Oh God, I missed that son of a bitch. God, that story was funny.
It's everybody. You got to watch everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's a dealer that's just messing with one of the players because they're new and they're not betting with proper bets, take it as a sign that there's something over here on this side that could be affecting your bets in the long run or the short run.
Absolutely agree. And to that point, that craps is a social game, both in you're not necessarily playing against other people, but what is going on at the table, regardless of your technique, regardless of your strategies, is going to have it's going to have an effect on your outcome. And I don't like being superstitious. I try not to. I am a victim of turning my bets off when one or both of the dice come off the table. Like I've been doing that since the beginning. So we all have our own little idiosyncrasies. But I will tell you that if I'm pissed, it's not going to go well. It's going to go opposite of whatever strategy I'm trying. If somebody else is pissed, it's not going to go well. If the crew is pissed, it's done. I won't play at a table where, I mean, even if they're just faking it until they make it, they better be faking it, because I want good vibes at the table.
Good energy.
Exactly. Like I said, I try not to be superstitious, but that energy, it is a real thing. And
Well, it's
John,
real.
John, John, if you're setting your dice properly, you've got a good toss, and you want to snap your fingers while the dice are in midair after you've done a good controlled toss, because that makes you feel good. Fucking do it.
Yeah.
That is great, because then you're going to get excited. Everybody else is going to get excited. Everybody's making money. I'm okay with that.
Well, here's the thing, science can tell you that, there are facts to the game. But if you can't, if you think that there's not good energy, bad energy at a table, then explain love to me, because there's no fact behind it. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. So is energy at the table.
Yes.
And it affects everything. If two people at the craps table start getting into it, turn your bets off. I'm telling you.
Yep.
There's no that's a great, Craig. That's such a great point. There's no love is a great way to kind of talk about this, because there's no reason, like I said it before, to bet. You don't have to make a bet. If you're in a bad mood, like Slam said, the dealers are pissing you off, or they're pissed off, or whatever's happening, and if you're not feeling it, you don't have to bet. And
right.
I think when your brain's in a bad way, it's not like you're gonna make a 7 happen, but you're gonna make a bad decision, right? And if me and my wife are having a bad evening, and I have 30 years, I'm married 30 years in a week, believe it or not. There's no reason to keep fucking talking. Right? I'm just gonna make it worse. I'm gonna make a bad decision. I'm gonna say something stupid, or she'll never say something stupid, but she's not listening to me right now. Like one of us will say something stupid because you're just trying to force it, right? The vibe is important, and I think at the craps table, the vibe doesn't produce 7s, but it produces you doing something stupid, like rail dumping, or making a bad bet, or hopping something because you're mad, or taking a bet off when you probably shouldn't. Right? That energy I think it affects you. And it can get into here, and I think that more than anything else, that happens. And if you're a controlled shooter, or you're trying to be a controlled shooter, and you're in a shitty way, guess what? Your hands sweat, messes everything up, and I don't snap. I go, uh-oh. Right? You hear me say uh-oh, everybody needs to duck. Right? How many times have I done that, right? And that's what it is, right? The vibe is it's real. It is real, and I think you got to pay attention to it. We always joke about when I say to myself, one more hit, I 100% turn my bets off now. I 100% turn the bets off now. Yeah. Doesn't really matter, I don't think, but from an energy standpoint, I don't want to make a bad decision. So, all right, we got a couple minutes left here.
Another topic I would like to actually see is a lot of us have anxiety. And it plays into, we love this game, but we have anxiety. So I don't know about you, but I've been to a table where I get to the table, I've got my chips in my rail. The dice are not, it's going around the table. They haven't come to me yet. And I freeze. I don't know. I just don't bet. And then numbers are going by. Could have made money. Could have made money. Could have made money. Then I finally make a bet, 7 out.
7.
It's happened, but so it's not just the table energy, but it's like you were talking about, it's yourself.
Yeah.
You got to get yourself into the right mindset when you get to the table. I think even Gargoyle has brought it up before on one of the lives with Ed and Jeff about when they were doing the series leading up to teaching the underhand toss. They were talking about your mindset at the table, how you approach the table. It could be
Yeah.
everything. You could get to a table and all of a sudden a fight breaks out in the blackjack pit. We've all seen people go rowdy and at blackjack, and you're like,
Mhm.
Jesus Christ. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna put my chips down. I'm gonna walk back 2 steps. I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna reset myself. You
Mhm.
know, the other thing is if you have the dice in your hand and something just feels off, there is no rule against you putting them back down
Right.
and taking a breath and then
Yep.
picking them back up.
Unless you're at one of
You
those
know?
new casinos where they time you. I'll
They
tell you what
time
what
you,
set
right?
what
Just
sets me
another
off a lot.
distraction.
Totally. Well, here's a distraction that sets me off all the time is my local, anyway, my old local, they had TV sets by the craps table. They had 2 of them. And, depending what day you're there, you got college football on, you got a baseball game on, and half the people are watching the game and not watching the table, and you hear a cheer, or like I'm watching the game and not paying attention. Like those things that just get you off of your center are tough to
That
overcome. You know what I mean? God.
that shit is done on
Oh,
purpose.
no question. No question.
Absolutely is.
And if you're
Yep.
that one person at the table and it's your team playing, that's where you're looking.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. For sure. All right, we got to get out of here, guys. Give me your final thoughts on the show coming up this Sunday, and just whatever you want to have on your mind. So, Craig, I'll let you kick it off, and then we'll close out with Slam.
All right, my final thoughts is this guy is a noob, but I love him, and I can't wait to meet him in October for Blue Wrench Crew.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
But it's going to be a great show. I think you're really going to dig the vibe, especially the panel, because it'll be the first time you actually see us all on the panel. So don't judge us by
Yeah.
show number 1.
It's like the first
I think it'll
episode
be
of
great.
Seinfeld. Yeah.
It'll be great topics. It'll be a different format, something you're not used to. Maybe you've seen on other networks and shows and stuff. It'll be a culmination of different things, but I think it'll be a good vibe, great topics, and great conversation, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Slam.
So most of the people who know me know that I'm very big on the community, bringing the community together. Not all of us agree on everything, but we all have a common adversary, and that is the property management. We do not need to be fighting with each other. We need to be doing what we can to support each other, because we don't need to be fighting a war on 2 fronts. And so, and that is why I've always been so vocal about people who are making their money off of other people in the community. If you know so much about craps and you're so good at craps, you need to be making your money from the casino and not your fellow gambler. That being said, regarding, that's the mindset that I want to bring to Craps Chat, that I want to help bring everybody together. I know that's going to sound weird for people who like talk to me on the regular, because I'm sarcastic. I have I relish being the devil. Shut up, Craig. I relish being the devil's advocate. I think that helps. But what I really want to see come out of Craps Chat is, if you're watching, I want you to, at the very least, take one of 3 things away, if not more. 1, you learned something. If you learned something, that's fantastic. The day we stop learning is the day we stop breathing. Number 2, have a laugh. Enjoy it. You may agree with something that we're saying. You may not agree. However, I think the community that we're going to try and bring with each other can spread out across the entire craps community as a whole, because we all know there are different silos of groups and not everybody talks to each other. I want to foster more communication so that we all have more friends and allies to play with at the table. And number 3, let it bring you new ideas. If something that we've said or something that we didn't say, but we like made a point that made you look at something differently, bring that to us. Be one of our special panelists one week and say, Slam said something last week. I absolutely disagree. I've been thinking about it for this long, and I want to tell you why. I will listen. I am not adverse to learning something new, to embracing other viewpoints. And, I want to be better. I want everyone else to be better too. Because when we're all better, we're all winning, and everybody loves money. That's it.
Everybody, give your money a big hug. What I always say, give my
That's
money
right.
a hug. That's right. All right, folks, that is it. Great show. I can't wait till Sunday. 9 o'clock Pacific, or 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, Sunday night. On this channel, I'll have the thumbnail and the schedule out this evening, so everybody can get prepped up and ready for it. We might even consider, I haven't talked about it yet, we might even consider doing some simulcasting. So I might even consider finding ways to simulcast in multiple channels. But let's get it rolling this week first and see. It'll be like the first episode of Seinfeld. We're going to be a little bit disjointed, and that's okay. And by the way, trivia question for you. What was Kramer's name in the first episode of Seinfeld? It wasn't Kramer.
Shit, if I know.
Cosmos.
It wasn't Cosmo.
Cosmo. It wasn't Cosmo?
Oh. No, it was something. You have to go look it up, and we'll open up with that on Sunday. Actually, we'll give a prize out to somebody on Sunday night if they can figure out what. Go watch the first episode. And Jerry actually slips in the episode and calls him the wrong name. There it is. Arcades has it in chat already. Kessler, the real Kramer, that's his guy's actual name, and they're worried about him suing the show for using his actual name, so they were going to call him Kessler. And they finally said, screw it. They went back. So for the first episode, Kramer's Kessler.
Nice.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
Yeah. We learn something new every day.
Yeah. My wife and I just restarted the whole series like 2 weeks ago from episode 1. And I also restarted Star Trek Enterprise or Next Generation from episode 1. Holy shit. That first season's terrible. Terrible. Like they are
The OG is the best.
I mean, the thing is, like on any show, the first season, they're all trying to figuring it out, but it becomes rock solid at the end. That's where we're going to be. So, y'all have a great rest of your. I got to get out of here for stuff. So see you Sunday night. Have a happy Thursday, everybody. God bless all of you, and I will see you in the next one.
See y'all.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Dice don't know it's to come out.